Okay, so let us remember that we're in the holy presence of a loving God. And let's continue to pray for people who are feeling lonely and isolated during this time. And let's also pray for the spirit of compassion and outreach so that we can reach out to people who are feeling lonely in this time. All right, I'll unmute you if there are any prayer intentions. Are there any intentions?
Hey, do questions in, okay?
Thank you. Why do you have yourself on mute? Why don't you be a part of it?
Okay, there are no intentions. Are there intentions?
It's Booty Flat.
Stay safe. Something intentions you could say.
Jana said that we all stay safe. That's her intention.
Okay,
My intention is that we all can all see each other soon.
that's a good one.
Was that Matt?
I'm going to say one.
Who just asked if that was me?
My intention is that everyone doesn't get corona and that we can all have a party in Spanish class soon.
Maeve, tell your mom I said hi.
All right, if that's the end of our prayer, Kenzie, do you have an intention?
I'd like to pray for everyone, but I've been thinking about
I gotta go to work. Holy shit.
Matt.
Maeve, I missed you.
All right, so we're gonna finish up our prayer. St. John Baptist de La Salle, pray for us. Live Jesus in our
Forever.
hearts forever.
Forever.
It's Flaherty.
Okay, so we're gonna get started with our notes, and there's just been a little bit too much background chatter, so we're gonna get started with our notes, and then I'll let you guys ask questions, okay? All right, so make sure your notebooks are out and ready to go. And we're gonna if I can figure out how to do this. So we are going to start with today's notes. So hoy es el 27 de marzo de 2020. El tema continuado es el subjuntivo y específicamente el subjuntivo irregular. Okay? So the subjunctive is a tense that's used for a few different things. It can be used to talk about things that are hypothetical, or it can be used to talk about something that you want someone to do. It's a little bit different from the command because with the command we were saying do this, but with the subjunctive we're saying things like it's important that you do this. It's logical that you do this. It's necessary that you do this. So it's just a little bit different because instead of telling someone directly what to do, you're just making a strong suggestion. Okay. So the video that you watched was about the irregular subjunctive, and I'm hoping that it was clear. Okay. So the basic idea is that all the verbs that were irregular in the usted and ustedes and nosotros commands are also irregular in the subjunctive. So does anybody remember what verbs were irregular in those command forms? There were 5, right? Ears, 1, yep, John. Dar, ser, desir, Kenzie, desir is not irregular in the command form for a different reason, but we'll talk about that in a second. So there's just 5, dar, ser, estar, ir, yeah, and saber, yep. Great, so I'm seeing a lot of those come up. So the reason that these verbs are irregular in the command form is because they don't follow the pattern that other verbs follow. So to form the command or to form the subjunctive, the first thing you do is go to the yo form. And then you take away the o, and then you add the opposite ending. But these verbs don't have a yo form that ends in o. Their yo forms are irregular. So we can't follow that rule because it's impossible to follow. We can't take off an o if there's no o. And that's why these are irregular. So we see soy, voy, doy, say, and estoy. None of those end in O, so we can't follow that 3-step pattern. That's why all of these are irregular. Matt, slow down the explanation or slow down the typing? Okay. All right, so all these verbs are irregular in both the command and the subjunctive because we can't follow the 3-step pattern of forming them. Normally, with every other verb, first we go to the yo form, take off the O, and then add the opposite ending. In this one, we can't because there's not an O at the end. They all have a different letter, like a Y or an E. Okay, so when we were doing our usted and ustedes commands, we only had sea and sean, and for nosotros we added seamos. But we do have 6 forms, just like when we conjugate verbs in every other tense. So what's the 2 form for ser? Yes, seas. Thank you, Becca. I don't know how to keep this up. I'll change my screen just a little bit. I know, sorry. Is that still big enough to see? Okay, thank you. So we have sea, seas, and then for usted and Ellen, ella. Sea. And for nosotros, let's just keep going. Probably got it before I could see. Yeah, seamos. Great. For vosotros, seáis with an accent on the A. I know that we can't type accents too easily into that chat. And then ustedes and ellos is sean, just like it was for the command. All of these follow the same pattern. So as long as you know one of them, you can figure out the rest of them. And these are exactly the same as the command. There's just more forms now because it applies to everybody, not just usted, ustedes, nosotros, or the -2 commands. They're actually all here, so I'm just going to show them all and give you guys a minute to copy them down. I can see a lot of us are still writing, so I'm just gonna wait a little bit longer. All right, it looks like we're wrapping it up. So verbs that are irregular in those command forms are also irregular here. And another important thing to know where where you got desir from, is that verbs that have irregular yo forms are also affected in the subjunctive. So desir isn't irregular in the subjunctive because it follows that pattern, that three-step pattern. The go to the yo form, take off the o, and add the opposite ending. But it has an irregular yo form. It's not diso or dico, it's digo with a G. So it looks different. Okay. So an example that we have is ver. The yo form is veo. So we take off that o, and then we add the opposite ending. And the opposite ending for an ER verb would be as, amos, ice, and on. So there's irregular in the yo form. It's not irregular in the subjunctive, but it looks different than you might expect it to. And take off that annotation, please. Thank you. Okay, so another verb that has an irregular yo form is poner. Who knows what the yo form for poner is? Pongo, yep. And poner is an ER verb, so it's gonna have the same endings as ver does in the subjunctive. Oh, okay, so it would be ponga, pongas, ponga. I don't know why I didn't put these down. What else do we have? Tener. What's the yo form for tener? Mm-hmm. Yep, so we have yo, tango. And for venir, I chose mostly go verbs. What do we have for venir? Mm-hmm. Vengo. And traer. There are a lot of verbs with irregular yo forms. So all of these are also ER or IR verbs. They would have these same A or AS or A or almost or ice on endings that ver has. They have all the same endings that ver has because they're the same kinds of verbs. But if it was an AR verb, then it would have an A, ace, A, amos, ace, and N. Okay, so your mom might say, quiero que tú pongas tu ropa sucia en el hamper. I can't remember how to say hamper in Spanish. I'll look it up right now. So what would that say? Yeah, Kenzie, so you would take away the O on all of those and then add the opposite ending to the original ending. So since poner is an ER verb, we added an AS because that's the opposite ending for ER verbs. Cesta. So it would be la cesta. Yeah, exactly. I want for you to put your dirty clothes in the hamper. That's exactly what that would say. So instead of your mom saying, put them in the hamper, she's saying, I would like for you to do that. It's just a little bit more suave. Okay. And I might say to you guys, quiero que ustedes tengan su tarea completa. What would that say? Yeah, exactly. I want that you all have your homework completed. And that sounds odd and like clunky and old fashioned in English to say, I want that you, but that is how you would translate this the best way. We can just say, I want you to. It's just not as precise, but that's okay. So, es importante que vengan a las citas de Zoom. Venir means to come. So what would that say? Yeah, perfect. It's important to come to the Zoom meetings. It's important that you all come to the Zoom meetings. Cuando voy a la playa, no. A la playa es importante o es necesario que traiga el protector solar. A la playa es necesario que traiga el protector solar. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay. So that was our topic from yesterday pretty much. If it's an ER or IR verb, it would always change to AR endings. If it's an AR verb, it would have ER endings. We switch endings, just like with the command we were doing before. Okay, I can put the mics on if you guys can talk one at a time. So we can try it. Gianna, I know you have a test soon, so if you have to go, then you can watch the rest of this later.
Ah!
All right, so back to the notes. All right, so this is our second topic. The one up above was in the video, so hopefully you guys figured that out just by watching the video. But the stem changing verbs and subjunctive. So when we were talking about the command, did verbs stem change in the usted and ustedes commands? Any memory? We're not sure. Okay, they did stem change in the usted and ustedes commands, but they didn't stem change in the nosotros. And that's kind of true here too. So verbs that stem change in the present also stem change in the subjunctive.
Wait, is Lauren on this?
Yep. Okay. And all forms are affected except for nosotros and vosotros. These are just like boot verbs, only now they're subjunctive endings. So, question? Okay. So, we're going to start with this one, cerrar. Cerrar is an E to IE stem changing verb. So this E here is going to change when we conjugate it in these four forms. It makes a boot shape just like it does in the present tense. It's also an AR verb. So instead of using our AR endings, since we're in the subjunctive, we're going to switch to our ER endings. So anybody know what it would be for yo? You can say it or you can type it.
Karen.
Close. For yo, it would just be cierre with an E on the end. Okay. And for two, what would it be?
No, the S, like CRS.
Yeah, cierres, exactly. Two cierres. Oh. And then usted and L and A are pretty similar.
So is it the same thing as like the above? Like,
What was
is
that,
it,
Matt?
is it the same thing that's on the top?
It's the same thing as yo, yeah, cierre.
No.
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, but does the top do like do you do like E to IE on the top too?
No, these are different.
On the notes from, no, that was, no, you don't. You only do this with stem changing verbs. So I don't know how many of you can look at a verb and remember whether or not it's stem changing, but that's ideally something that you should know. Like everyone should know that jugar is a stem changing verb to like U to UE. And the same thing with dormir, O to UE. Or like querer, E to IE. Because we've been looking at them for a long time. Okay. In the nosotros form, there's no stem change, but our ending still is the subjunctive ending. So what would it be? Close. Maybe we're still using the subjunctive ending, and this is an AR verb, so we're gonna switch it. Yeah, exactly, cerremos. Yep. Cerremos. And vosotros also doesn't stem change.
The rice.
Cerréis.
Yeah.
Yep, like that.
Suckers.
And then we do have a stem change in this last form. So what would we have?
Cierren.
Cierren. Perfect.
Great work.
Okay, but there is a caveat. So AR and ER verbs work like that up above, but if it's an IR verb, it stem changes in every single form. This is the complicated part. So we're going to do two examples to make sure we understand. It stem changes in every single form. And if there's a two-letter change, there's a one-letter change in nosotros and vosotros.
So AR firms are AR words are like that, but IR are like different.
Yeah, AR and ER stick to the boot shape, the boot verb, but IR verbs, they change in every form. They stem change in every form. Okay?
Wait, what about ER? Do they also change in every form?
Nope, ER changes in the boot shape too.
So, okay.
Only IR.
I'll add that up here.
So what would a change to?
What's your question, Matt?
Like, you know how E changes to IE? What would A change to?
Oh, A doesn't change. The only possible changes are E to IE, E to I,
But not IR verbs, AR verbs.
O to UE, and U to UE. Yeah, you're right. Thank you, Kenzie. ER and AR verbs. Thank you, Kenzie. Okay. So the one that we're going to look at first is pedir. And we're going to look at that one because it's a one-letter change, not a two-letter change. This one's easier. So what would it be for the yo form? It's an E to I verb, and it's an IR verb, so we're going to have the AR endings.
Pida, yo pida.
Pida, yeah, exactly. Yo pida. I would ask, or that I ask. And two, pidas. Usted and Elenea.
Feed in.
Not quite yet.
Pida again.
Pida again, yep. Okay, and this one is not a boot verb. Our nosotros does stem change. So what would it be for nosotros?
Wait, Miss Freddy, why isn't it like PIE?
Because it's just a one letter change, Matt. It's E to I, not E to IE. Okay, that's just the kind of verb that it is. There's 4 different kinds of stem changing verbs.
I don't like this.
Nate, I didn't mute you. I don't know why your computer's not working. Okay.
That's what happened to me last time. Unless you muted me.
Did mute you last time.
I don't remember.
Yes,
Okay, so nosotros, what would it be for nosotros?
Pidamos.
Quedamos, yep.
Oh, get on my
And-
level.
For vosotros? Quedáis.
That's all you, Bella.
Oh, whoops.
I know that was rude.
Here we go. And for the last one? Quedan, yep. Okay, so if we were going to highlight the forms that are different to get our boot verb, it would be like this for this chart up here. This one we don't need to highlight at all because they're all the same. They all stem change. But now we're going to look at one more verb that has a 2-letter change, so it does act differently. So dormir. Dormir is an O to UE stem changing verb. So we'll start with the yo form, which should be easy because we're going to do our stem change and then add our subjunctive ending. Any thoughts?
Just
What?
the last thing.
This is the last part. Duerma. Yep. Yo duerma. And to
Hermas.
duermas. And usted and Elandea.
Duerma.
Duerma. Now, if there is a 2-letter change, there is a 1-letter change in nosotros and vosotros. Which one sounds better? Dormamos or dermamos? Do you think it's the U or the E that we keep?
You.
We keep the U, yeah. So, nosotros dormamos. The E goes away, but the O changes to a U.
I'm gonna get this wrong.
We're gonna do the best we can. And for vosotros,
Duermais.
close. How would you spell that, Kenzie? What goes between the D and the R?
A E. A U.
Just a U. So dormais. And then we're back to our full stem change with 2 letters down here.
Duermen.
duerman. Yeah, so if we were gonna highlight these, we would still have our boot. But then these are also special, so we should pay attention to those too.
I don't have a highlighter.
Well, I mean, I can post the notes highlighted like this though. Okay. Questions, concerns, comments, other than that it's confusing and we need practice.
Can you not grade it so hard on the assignment?
I am gonna definitely grade it for correctness, but I'll give you a chance to correct it yourself too.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you guys been seeing my comments to correct things?
Yeah.
You will have an assignment, Rory. Yeah.
And there's not much to correct on my part.
Clarity, did you tell Mr. McGinn to email me?
No.
Oh.
He emailed my mom.
He emailed me last night and he was like, Matt, don't forget you have a Zoom meeting with Miss Flaherty tomorrow.
I don't know how he knows that because I didn't send him the schedule. But
Then I stayed up until now, so I
love
wouldn't.
I invite him over for Sunday dinner.
not during social distancing though. Okay, so
10 people. My mom, my mom's boyfriend, my mom's boyfriend's son, my mom's boyfriend's girlfriend, me, my brother, my mom, and him.
Jeez.
You know?
okay. So
I mean-
anyway, does anyone have any questions about the notes
Clarity, I forgot to
specifically?
tell you. Wait, Miss Flaherty, they posted a picture of me and you on the LaSalle web on the LaSalle Instagram.
No way. I want to see.
Doing that.
Wait,
Okay.
can we do class photo and then send it in?
Yeah.
I'll do it at the end with all of our pets.
I can't even get everyone on this.
Do it.
Oh.
I'll do it. I'll do it on my side.
You
No,
do
If
it.
you'd like to be in it,
You have a Samsung?
if you would like to be in it, make sure your video is turned on. If you don't want to be in it,
Yeah, I
that's
don't know
fine.
how to like.
Nate, because Nate will want to be in it.
I can't. Nate is unmuted. I've hit unmute like 9 times.
There's like a mute button in the corner of ours.
Yeah, he knows that.
Yeah, he's muting himself. Okay,
How do I do like everyone at once?
I got
if
it. Ready? Smile.
Wait.
Like the Brady Bunch. Okay, all set.
Wait, was I doing a duck face? If not, can we redo it?
Wait, Miss Flaherty, you have to unshare your screen if we want to see everyone.
Wait,
Yeah.
Nate's here. Nate's here. Now we gotta redo it. We gotta redo it. Lauren, come here.
Wait, unshare,
Oh wow! Suddenly it works. Wow.
unshare your screen first.
Nate, you need a flow chop.
Okay, all set.
Wait, I can't see them.
Wait, Nate wasn't in it. We had to redo it.
He was in it. I just did it.
I wasn't ready.
You're doing us dirty, Miss Flaherty. Okay, can we go get our dogs now?
Yeah, we're all done with the notes. I'm gonna put your assignment on Classroom as well as these notes, as well as a broadcast of
In the assignment
this
here.
class. It'll be on Classroom.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna end the recording, but we can stay on.